In the words of Dave Chappelle, gotcha, I think most of you clicked on this video looking for a guarantee. A guarantee that these fragrances I'm going to talk about are going to behave on you as they behave on me. Because all I'm talking about is my experience. But know that no reviewer, not even me, can guarantee you anything about fragrances, whether that means you're going to like them, whether that means they're going to last a long time on you, whether that means other people will like them when you wear them. Now don't worry, I am going to share 10 fragrances that I love that last a long time in my experience. But I want to stress something that I stressed in a video all about fragrance myths, which you can watch here. And this is not stressed enough in videos. Performance of a fragrance is not based only on the fragrance. It's also based on your body, your skin, as well as your environment. All of these things play a role before the fragrance has a chance to last or be detected or anything like that. So keep that in mind. As I always say, your mileage can and will vary. One thing I want to let you know is that fragrances tend to last a long time on me. For whatever reason, most fragrances, even the ones that people claim will last 3 to 5 hours, I can easily get 12 plus. Not every time, and I don't really have a way to explain why, but that's just what it is. So I'm only talking about my experience, and what's even more important than all of that, again, it comes back to why you clicked on this video. I know a lot of people are looking for fragrances that last a long time, but not necessarily ones that they love the smell of. Smell should be number one. Buying a fragrance because it's strong, without even regarding the scent,
that you
Let's dive right into the list. This is no particular order. This is Pacha de Cartier Parfum. This stuff is a beast on me. I wore this the other night, and frankly, I sprayed on a little bit too much, maybe like one spray too many. And I only did like 5 sprays, but this thing was pumping on me all night long. I wore it for a gig. I smelled it for a good 6-7 hours that night. The next morning, was still smelling it. It is a gorgeous scent. Now I love it. I was loving it, but I was like, man, I wonder if people are really getting choked by this. No one said anything, so that's good. But Grace loves this stuff. She's actually the one who chose it. I was deciding between a few, and this is the one that she chose. This stuff is so classy, so elegant. This is class in a bottle. This is almost like a modern fougere. There's something kind of barbershop about it. There's a cleanliness that's implied, and that is residual from its predecessor, Pacha de Cartier. But this is richer, boozier, smoother, more balsamic and resinous, a little sweeter, darker overall. Lovely stuff. Lasts a long time on me. If I'm looking for class that lasts,
somebody's got to take that slogan.
I'm wearing Pacha de Cartier Parfum. All right, here's a fragrance I wore just a couple nights ago, and I hadn't worn it in a while. Honestly, it'd probably been a year since I wore this fragrance, but I love it. And I only wear it maybe once or twice a year, but whenever I do reach for it, it blows me away. Nichane Fan Your Flames. I've been raving about this for years now. This is my bottle that I've worn it at least 8 to 10 times, I want to say, but you would not be able to tell simply because it's so strong. I don't spray it more than twice typically. It is so potent, but I love it. And twice is all I need. I get the scent cloud around me 24 hours. Easy. I have to scrub it off. This is an interesting one. It's kind of complex and different. Sweet tonka bean. So there's a vanilla-like sweetness that is encompassed by dark earthy tobacco, by some earthy oak moss, by some smoky cedar wood. You have lots of rum in here. You have coconut. It is such a weird concoction that smells like a sweet tropical drink inside of a smoky barrel. That's the best way I can describe it. Very niche, but incredible. Very transportive, very unique. Nichane Fan Your Flames. All right, here's a fragrance I'm literally wearing right now. And it wasn't actually gonna make this video until I wore it. Grace and I went out to do some shopping. And while I was out, I was like, I forgot how freaking strong this stuff is. This is going in the video. So I actually replaced another fragrance with this, that being Tom Ford Black Orchid Parfum. I'm trying to get some more designers in here because I know a lot of you guys are only really looking for that. This takes the original DNA, that dark, chocolatey, earthy, punchy floral fragrance that is in no way powdery, but it is quite sweet. And it's quite a provocative and very confident smelling profile. It's actually darkened up here a bit, made perhaps a little bit more masculine, whereas a lot of guys might shy away from the original. This one might be a little bit more accessible. They have some rum in here, it's earthier, it's a little bit darker, it's just as strong as I get from the Eau de Parfum, and it just has a beautiful presence around you. I wore it in black like this, and I think it works really well with darker colors. I love it. Grace was loving it. She kept complimenting me as she was trailing me. That is Black Orchid Parfum from Tom Ford, total beast. I can tell this thing is gonna last until tomorrow. Up next is one of my favorite niche fragrances in my collection because it's so transportive. It affects my mood, it affects my feelings, and it puts a picture in my mind. This is Russian Tea from Mosque Milano. And it happens to be really, really powerful, but as I'm saying, I don't love it because of that. This is a beautiful and authentic combination of ingredients that just make sense and that paint a picture, but do so in a way that, again, is very authentic and quite unique as far as fragrances go. Black tea, peppermint, raspberry, maybe a little bit of incense, and maybe some spices as well. It is like a warm cup of black tea, brightened with quite a bit of peppermint, with a little bit of a sweet, but not overly sweet raspberry. There's even a bit of a honeyed feel in here, and it's very strong. But it reminds me of perhaps sitting inside a cafe or just sitting at home on a day like this, when it's cloudy and when it's gloomy, with a warm cup of tea. It is kind of introspective, but at the same time, it's beautiful, it's classy. I would totally wear it out when I want to have a classy vibe. Lovely stuff. And all day performance, at least for me. That is Russian Tea from Mosque Milano. Now, as with many fragrances, this is one that people report quite a variety of performance from. This is Tom Ford Ebene Fumé. And this one has really grown on me, especially after finally giving it a full wearing and not just smelling it up close on my hand. I've seen people say the performance is disappointing, I only get 5 hours. Again, that may not be just the fragrance. That's probably you and or your environment, because I get easily double that. I wasn't keeping track, I wasn't counting, but after like a 10-12 hour day, I was smelling it
strongly.
The next morning, I was smelling it
strongly.
It was still on my clothes, I could smell it
strongly.
So what does that tell you? We are the variable. This thing does not change. Anyway, lovely smoky Palo Santo fragrance. Has a little bit of an incensey vibe, so it's not like burning wood. It's cooler smelling, soft, dry wood with some spices and some warm, sweet resins. Doesn't change all that much on the skin, but there's something so elegant about it, even though it's a little bit unusual and pretty specific. You gotta like smoky, dark, woody fragrances. But this is a lovely one. Ebene Fumé. We have Royal Tobacco. Now, it's no surprise that Amouage would be on this list in some form because most of their fragrances are way stronger than they need to be. And this is no exception. This is tobacco that is made smoky, but in an incense way, and it's both cool and warm. You have, I think, quite a bit of cardamom in here, making that earthy, kind of leafy tobacco pretty fresh almost, but then there's this very rich, warm, kind of earthy quality to it. There's a little bit of a sweetness from like a plum or a prune-like note that's not overly fruity, but it does add a rich, kind of thick sweetness, almost like the sweetness of a date. It's not like juicy and bright, you know what I mean? Very rich, very complex, very, very strong. So I'm really careful with this stuff. I don't wear it a ton because I'm not always looking for something to choke me and others. If I wanted to choke my enemies, I would just take this and spray it a couple times on their throat and sayonara. But I'm not that type of person. Anyway, this one lasts a long freaking time on me. That's why it's here. Amouage Royal Tobacco. Now this one I would say is not necessarily known to be beast mode, but again, for me, for whatever reason, a lot of fragrances last a long time. This is one of them. Guerlain L'Eau Medial Eau de Parfum. Love this stuff. I forgot how much I love it. I wore it last week. Ended up getting a compliment from it, which was cool, but what I was really noticing was how long it was lasting. I put it on 10:30 a.m., something like that. I got home at like 8 p.m. and it was still going strong. Grace came home and hugged me and was like, man, you smell amazing. And I'm like, yeah, I can still smell it. This stuff was just pumping off of my skin for whatever reason. But I love this scent. I love this whole collection because they are decidedly a little bit different for a mainstream collection. This is sweet syrupy cherry with leather and woods. There's something soft and gentlemanly about it, but it's quite unique, very classy, very interesting. Just interesting. Love it. L'Homme Ideal Eau de Parfum. Now here's one from the designer realm that came out last year, roughly 2021, I believe. And I blind bought it. It surprised me. I actually like the scent. I find the performance to be absolutely nuclear, one of the strongest in my collection. I've seen people say they can barely smell it after an hour, which again, goes back to what I was just saying. It's probably you. It's your skin and or it's your nose. You could be getting overpowered by it. So keep that in mind, because this stuff was created to be strong. It's extremely concentrated. So if you're getting an hour, just know that it's not the fragrance. That is Dior Sauvage Elixir. I don't need to say much about it. It's like the original Dior Sauvage, made darker, made almost balsamic, made a little bit old school in a way, richer, warmer. Still has a bit of that shower gel-like freshness in there from the original DNA, but it is way more mature, and therefore I enjoy it. Dior Sauvage Elixir. This is another one I wore recently, and another one that I forgot how freaking strong it is. From Roger Parfum, we have Sweetie Oud. Wow, this is thick.
With 2 C's.
This smells like a warm, freshly baked pastry with some kind of fruit, like a raspberry or something like that. That's not what the note breakdown paints. It's technically a rose oud with a lot more going on, but that's how it comes together to me. It's bready, it's dessert-like, but not overly edible smelling. Very classy, very thick, very strong. 2 sprays is all I need. Any more than that, and if I'm gonna be inside, I'm choking myself out. It almost becomes disgusting, honestly. That's just me. 2 sprays and I'm smelling it till tomorrow. That is Sweetie Oud from Roger Parfum. And the last one, a total beast, a classy beast. That's what I would call this. And this is known to be strong. This is African Leather from Memo. It's been a little while since I talked about this one because I wear it in the fall time. Now it's finally fall. And I love this stuff. There's a simplicity here. I get some kind of cooling spice. I get almost a resinous feel that's almost sweet, but there's something kind of woody and leathery about it, offsetting the sweetness. It's kind of dark and almost bitter smelling, and its woodiness like a vetiver. That leather note is a centerpiece, but it is not the main player. It kind of holds everything together. It is the glue. But when I smell this, leather is not the first thing that comes to mind. Nonetheless, incredibly classy stuff. Lasts all freaking day on me. If you've tried this one, let me know how you feel about it. This is stunning. There's a lot of hype around it. There's always been one of the most hyped fragrances from the house, and I see why. Really suits me. I love this stuff. Gonna be linked to everything down below if you want to check it out, especially getting decants. Get decants if you're interested. Gonna have stuff probably with Decant X. Get you a little discount with the code STAYFRESH15. You know the drill. Anyway, I want to know what you guys think of this whole topic of beast mode fragrances, and even broader than that, guarantees. Because these videos that we watch and enjoy, a lot of the time we watch on guarantees, or maybe we click on guarantees. Nothing is guaranteed. Let me know if you've tried these fragrances down in the comments, and thank you so much for tuning in. Peace. I'll see you in the next one.